recorded live from the secret underground lair of Crimson Cowl Comics and Collectibles. This is the Crimson Cowl Comic Club Podcast.
The following issues may contain spoilers. Happy Halloween 2023. I'm Anthony.
I'm Kirby.
And I'm Katie.
Welcome to issue number 279 of the Crimson Cowl Comic Club Podcast. Each and every week, we meet here to talk about comic books. On this very show, we're going to have a club discussion for Aligator Loki, a special one-shot from Marvel Comics. Then we're going to jump into the weekly reviews. That's where we go back and forth and we talk about the books that we've been reading, whether they're new, whether they're old. We're going to talk about them there. Then we're going to do the part 2 of our previews preview. That's in the news section where we talk about the independent catalog, the giant previews catalog with the independent publishers and the merchandise and the apparel, collectibles, and all that fun stuff. That is going to be the lineup for our show. But before we do that, happy Halloween to everybody watching and listening, as well as to Kirby and Katie. How's it going for your, by the time this drops, it's going to be really close to Halloween. So have you been in the spooky season?
Oh, yeah.
What does one, let's start with Kirby. What does a Kirby do to get into the spooky season?
Well, usually it's just basically going on the fall tours, cruising around, checking all the things out, going all the haunted things we can find. But this year's been a little slow, a little behind the ball.
And Katie, how's your spooky season going? Do you have any traditions or anything like that?
Oh, it's very nice. So I'm a pumpkin spice and candy corn person, so I've been enjoying a lot of pumpkin spice things. What else? I have been taking some time to, take the long way when I'm out driving somewhere and to appreciate all the lovely leaves and look out and enjoy the, the crisp, beautiful fall days. And sometimes when it's rainy and kind of moody like this, it feels very spooky and atmospheric. And I've been getting some pieces for my Jedi costume that I hope to put together eventually. So yeah, excited for that.
Cool. Yeah, I've been making my way through the 30 of the Universal Monster movies on Blu-ray. Some of them I'm getting ready because they're all going to end with this beautiful creature right over here. If you're listening to the audio, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see who I'm referring to. I may have given it away when I said a creature, but they sometimes nickname some of the other monsters, creatures as well. So subscribe to YouTube. So yeah, I've been watching those, and then I've been doing a bunch of drawings that I kind of had set up. That I've been doing a drawing a day posts that are mostly Halloween related. So yeah, that's it sounds like all three of us have got we're in the spooky season mood. Kirby's had like 15 masks on already just for this video. So yeah, I think we're ready to go. This thing might naturally fall off, but we'll see what happens. We're gonna start it off with Aligator Loki. This is a one-shot here from Marvel Comics, and I've got a synopsis. But first, because now in the video I cut to an awesome club discussion video intro, so let's officially go into the club discussion. Here we are with Aligator Loki, issue number 1. Aligator Loki makes a splash in his print comic debut. Bow down to the reptile in a helm who has enraptured the 10 realms with his cuteness. First, Aligator Loki chomped down on Mjolnir, and then he chomped his way into our hearts. Now, the beloved Alligator of Mischief finds and makes trouble all across the Marvel Universe in his very own comic. This is collecting the hit Infinity Comics, which I think ran through 12 installments. From the Marvel Unlimited app, this one-shot includes a never-before-seen adventure in the life of everyone's favorite swamp-dwelling scamp. I didn't read that beforehand, so I just thought that was great. Swamp-dwelling scamp. This little scamp here. This comic is done by Alyssa Wong, Bob Quinn, and Pete Pantases. So yes, here it is. A one-shot. we kind of coincidentally had picked a lot of animal themed books for our club discussion in the fall going into the winter here, and this is just another one of those. This one's a one shot collecting those Marvel Unlimited infinity scrolling digital comics, and roughly a year later or so they've put them out in print. We've seen it with the It's Jeff. We had one installment that we talked about in the club, and we have a second one coming up very shortly. So yeah, I like the fact that they have the exclusivity for the Marvel Unlimited crew, but I'm glad that they doubled down with it and put it in print as well. So jumping into Alligator Loki, we definitely seen this character pop up for a very minor little cute spot on Loki season 1, but this was enough here to put him in print here with his very own comic, a bunch of little mini tales. This is a wordless comic, and it's one of those things, we can't really dive in and, not really going to be spoiling anything, just kind of just talking about, the funness of this comic. So what we're going to do is basically just kind of go around and maybe have some of us just kind of talk about some of our favorite ones or overall impressions of it. Let's start with Kirby. Thoughts on Alligator Loki #1?
I liked it a lot. It was as much fun as the It's Jeff comics in the past. I don't think they needed to go completely wordless. I think the humans could have said a few things since it was all humans except for one character. So, but yeah, of course, I'd say one of my favorite ones was the pet tricks. And one because it had Squirrel Girl, but I like the little treat bag that she brings along to help calm down Alligator Loki and teach him some little tricks along the way and help everybody else teach him some things in the house. But yeah, this is a ton of fun, hilarious, just a goofy little character. Just it's fun seeing the more free flowing, fun style Loki instead of he's trying to get into mischief and stuff, but not as bad as the rest of the Lokis. So he's more fun to deal with along the way. So
no world-ending threats happening in this.
No,
keeps it light and fun.
And I love how he can know. I don't know how he knows when Thor's hammer is flying through the air anywhere he's at. But I just love watching him just go after it, get around that way. So that was a lot of.
Yeah, we see that a couple times through. It's just just kind of like a dog chasing a frisbee in that sense. And cool. Jump over to Katie. Thoughts on Alligator Loki?
Absolutely. I really enjoyed this. This was a pretty fun and easy comic to read. So not a lot of deep analysis. This was just really nice. I liked the first story where Alligator Loki and Thor go to the amusement park. I like the one where Alligator Loki is in timeout at the zoo. Yep, Thor's got him in the baby carrier. Imagine the logistics of carrying an actual alligator in a baby carrier. I love comics, man. Sometimes, the comic book genre has been so elevated in the past like 30, 40 years where they're really trying to go for something literary and artistic and meaningful. And then you just have like the just most goofiest, unrealistic thing possible. And the fact that both of those can exist in the space of comics is so much fun. I liked the zoo one where he's in trouble for being in timeout, and then he's getting his son, but then we got told that he got put in timeout for trying to mess with Mjolnir. And then there's one where he's on a spa day in hell. That entire just like idea of like this hell dimension has a spa is pretty funny to me. And all the villainesses are doing their face masks and their massages and they're trying to relax, and then there's just this goofy little crocodile. He's so silly. There were a couple moments in here where I like how Loki has the poop emoji for Thor and his phone has Thor's picture. And then there's the women pointing at cat meme, that meme where it's the two ladies like yelling at this cat making just like this goblin face. They recreated that in here with Thor and another character at Alligator Loki. That was goofy. And then I like how they interpreted like mischief can be like fun. Tom Hiddleston definitely brings a very Shakespearean and like tragic edge to the character, which I love and adore. So the mischief is often very serious and like, a big deal and carries a lot of weight to it. But this is just they were being fun and goofy and silly. The pointing at cat meme is in the one where Alligator Loki and Big Loki are going on a heist at like Tony Stark's birthday benefit or something. Alligator Loki, the heist. They're both sneaking in together trying to get the Infinity Gauntlet, and Alligator Loki's the distraction while Big Loki is trying to get the Infinity Gauntlet. We see Alligator Loki at the buffet, but he's too short because he's got his little dinosaur arms, so he's got to rip the whole thing off the buffet table to get his snackies. And then on the following page, we have the Thor pointing at Alligator Loki meme.
Okay, so I didn't catch that. Like when you were explaining them, like I could picture what you were explaining, but I didn't catch it when reading it. But yeah, now I totally see it. I see that lady. Yeah.
I liked this. I think this was like a $5, $5.50 comic. For me, it was worth it. I know maybe if you were looking for like a story, like a written story, that might not be worth it. But I enjoyed it. I thought, I got my money's worth. It made me laugh. Loki is one of my favorite characters from the MCU, so this definitely hits that same spirit. I enjoyed it. I'd read more from Alligator Loki. That's my review. What did you think?
Cool. Yeah, I really like the god of butterflies and basically just showing Alligator Loki just kind of hanging out in the swamp, and then all these butterflies are just like showing up, and he's trying to chomp at them, and then they're all just kind of flocking to him. This is just one of the more like prettiest stories when it just came to all the colors, and it just like was just very just the sun shining down and just how peaceful everything looked. And I just love the design and color work on that. I thought that was a really good one. My favorite one we just talked about with the Stark annual benefit. So yeah, I like the idea because you see right away on that first panel how the Infinity Gauntlet is just promptly on display. And it's just there, and it's just it's behind glass, and we have all these heroes and such there. But I like the idea that that it's just there, and then we also see the cosmic cube next to it when we go into a different panel. So I just love that these big, like, huge Marvel world universe, alternate universe bending, reality bending things are just right there for the pickings. So I like the comedy and how that was presented, and so that was definitely a top favorite of mine. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was just kind of cool. Pretty much everything you guys said too, and I would agree too that if you were going into this and looking for like a meaty story and stuff like that, that I could see some disappointment on that, based on that cover price. But yeah, I've read some of these on the Marvel Unlimited app when I had gotten it, so I knew what we're in for. Kind of like very similar to the It's Jeff. Or being a mostly wordless comic, and just having these fun little cute shenanigan setups and stuff. So all right, anything else to throw out there for Alligator Loki?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, as I planned. And I like all the pictures that they just give us with all the little for the surprise party and all that, and lots of fun little memes and pictures in there.
Yeah, I just had a thought. So this is a printed comic that started as a web comic. I bought the ebook version of the printed comic that started as a web comic, so I feel like I might have like duplicated some steps in there.
That's kind of funny. The one thing that reminds me of is that when the Doritos Locos Tacos came out at Taco Bell, had the Doritos Locos Tacos, and then they made Doritos Locos Tacos Doritos, and they took that flavor like combination and they put them together, and they actually came out Dorito bags based off of the tacos that were based off of the Doritos. Oh yeah, the fact that that jumps to my mind when you mentioned that, I think that's very relative. Yeah.
Absolutely. Could go
Just
for some Doritos.
just as I was flipping through again, having one of the scenes with Alligator Loki just desperately trying to lift Mjolnir off
Oh,
the desk and knocking over some picture frames and such. But I wonder if the Disney store, or Disneyland, or anything has Midgard's best Asgardian.
ooh,
It seems like this would be
yeah,
a
they should.
selling mug if they made that mug and put it into production. So
That's a really good idea. They definitely should, and they'll probably charge you $39.99 for it.
yeah,
But you know what? Worth it.
yeah. Just might as well, right?
That yeah,
You can make your money back depending on what you put in it and how much you drink of it. So,
this is true. Yeah, that's MCU math instead of girl math. It's MCU math.
well, yeah, we're on the cusp here. We're on the cutting edge, and cool. Yeah, so I think that'll do it. That was a fun little one shot. So yeah, highly recommended here if you're just looking for some cute, fun comics for everybody. This was a blast. So that is Owen looks like myself and Kirby got the Scotty Young cover because it kind of made sense. You're playing
You got
around.
it.
Yeah.
If it's something that could be kiddish, you got to go Scotty Young.
So yeah, that'll do it for Alligator Loki, the one shot over at Marvel Comics. We have other things that are coming up. A couple of them are released at this moment. So based on our club member availability, we have Marvel Unleashed #2. It's Jeff the Jeffers. I just got the My Little Pony Black, White, and Blue one shot, so that is out as well. And then the future issues of Once Upon a Time at the End of the World with issue #10, Howard the Duck #1 one shot, and Twas the Might Before Christmas from DC Comics, a one shot from them. So those are the upcoming ones, and any future club discussions are all decided through our previews preview. And we'll be going through the independent stuff later on in the show, so we may have some potential future club discussions. But that is going to do it for that segment. We're going to jump over to the weekly reviews. First up for the weekly reviews, something very timely for this Halloween specific episode. We have some awesome comics that came in from a recent Kickstarter done by writer-artist Ryan L. Higgins. And this will be another shout out quick to the iTunes audience that there's a whole variety of masks that are showing up, ones that I've never seen before that Kirby is throwing on. So that's why you have to check out and subscribe to Crimson Cowl Comic Club on YouTube, because you cannot hear those masks being changed out. So Ryan L. Higgins, I had built up a online friendship with him through Twitter. I don't remember how that started. All I know is that I saw like Kickstarter for his own characters from these Lazer Brain comics that he created. His description of himself on his website is Ryan L. Higgins is arguably the greatest comic book creator working in the wood flooring industry today. As he entered the midlife crisis period of his life a couple of years ago, he rekindled his childhood obsession with the all things comics, reading them, collecting them, and making them. If you believe it's never too late to not grow up, you need to grab a copy of Laserbrain Comics #1, Ryan's 36-page debut featuring 2 spine-tingling superhero adventure stories and a couple of eerie, odd-tail one-off short stories. So I talked about these, I believe, last summer. This is from summer 2022. Laserbrain Comics, which had the main cover, and then somehow, he pulled out all the stops and got an all red variant. And then he did a second issue, which I hadn't gotten until this Kickstarter. So I added on the second issue, which also had a variant cover for that one. So I'm looking forward to jumping into those. But then he had an awesome add-on feature that basically it's like a trick or treat add-on that for $20 you can get 20 copies of Laserbrain Comics #1. And so I have an extra 20 copies of Laserbrain Comics #1, and talking about like giving them out for trick or treat, or your friends at your Halloween parties and such. So if there's anybody that is from the club here, I know Kirby has those issues, but anybody from the club who is listening, that needs a copy, I've got some to hand out. So that is just kind of a little setup into the Kickstarter, which was for the Laser Brain Comics Halloween special. It creeps, it sneaks, it shocks and startles. It's the Laser Brain Comics Halloween special, a 52-page anthology of self-contained stories featuring vampires, werewolves, and killer coffee makers and more. This will be a fun read for both older fans of classic EC Comics, which did Tales from the Crypt and Weird Science, and younger readers who are into the goosebumps and scary stories to tell in the dark, and anyone who likes fun and eerie comics. Um, oh yeah, let's see here. I have a lot of story setups here, so I've got all the credits. So Ryan L. Higgins basically assembled an awesome creative team for this one. So what I'm going to do here, myself and Kirby had picked up this Halloween special. It's very new reader friendly. It opens up with a narration from the characters from the Laser Brain comics 1 and 2, because you see. Let's see here. The righteous red cat, who enemy of injustice and cruelty. And then you also see Philo Farnsworth, the keeper of the Cosmocron. And so it opens up with the characters from Laser Brain Comics, and it's them being very self-aware of the fact that they are doing the narration for this Halloween special. And it's just kind of fun, and it just kind of sets it off, and you actually just deal with completely new stuff. So if you had never read the other ones, this is very welcoming to you. So we have a quick little story run through. It's a teenage vampire wasteland, art by Craig Russo, story by Ryan L. Higgins. It's about two teens who are psyched to become vampires at first. Turns out that no one's safe in the apocalypse, not even vampires. So yeah, this is a fun story, just kind of dealing with it is probably maybe the longest one out of here, but yeah, just kind of dealing with being a vampire and making your friend a vampire, but what happens when that friend wants to make his friends vampires, and chaos ensues. We'll go through these step by step, and then at the end we'll kind of get the overall collective thoughts. Then there's a short story called The New Guy, which is art by Rich Woodall, story by Ryan. It wasn't a bad place to work until the new guy showed up. And that is dealing with the story of people working on like an assembly line and working on parts and finding out that there's this new worker, that there's something interesting about him. I'll just leave it at that. These are all short stories, but the other workers are kind of threatened about how much work this new guy is doing, and kind of making them all look bad in a sense. We have another one, which I'll just go ahead and say it is probably my favorite of the bunch. It is Coffee Apocalypse, art and story by Ryan L. Higgins. Too much coffee turns out to be a bad thing, a really bad thing. This story is insane. I think I have to set it up just kind of talking about how there's basically a bunch of coffee shops that keep popping up all on the same road as these guys are kind of taking their, I think, like route to work or something like that, and kind of realizing like, wow, they put up another coincidentally a coffee corner. They put up another coffee corner next to the other coffee corner, which is now across the street from the other coffee corner. There's just so many coffee shops popping up, and there's a couple rival ones. But as the story set up, I feel I should give this away because it's an awesome splash page. But these coffee shops basically are like transformers, so they kind of like turn, get up and turn into these giant robots. And there's this whole story about these competing coffee shops, so I'll just kind of leave it at that. But that turned into a very crazy story. A lot of action, a lot of fun, just a lot of awesome splash pages in that one. So that one just by far is my favorite one. Okay, yep, okay, yeah, that's one that we missed. I'm pulling things from his Kickstarter, and that one wasn't highlighted. So Kirby pointed out there is a prose one-page short story that Ryan did called "The Pumpkin Thieves." So that is in there as well. So yep, like I said, I don't have a synopsis prepared for that one there. We'll jump over to Demons, art by Scott Bryan Wood, story by Ryan L. Higgins. Two guys, a bar, and a portal to hell. There's a lot here, so I'm just going to keep going. The Tomb Down the Street story. Hold on. should be a space there. The Tomb Down the Street, story and pencils by Ryan, inks by Jeff Lawrence. The new kid in town finally makes new friends, but are they what they seem to be? That one I remember the art probably being my favorite one on that one. Common Genius, art by Mike Hartigan, who we'll probably be talking about with Squish and Squash #1 that's coming out soon in November. Story by Ryan, and he meant to discover a passage to the multiverse, but instead he found madness. And yeah, basically a mad scientist and his kind of scientist helpers and multiverse stuff, and how crazy, we're very much in the time frame of everyone playing around with multiverse stories and all sorts of media, and this is basically good commentary on that in a very hilarity kind of slapsticky way. And then we have the Dark Arts Club, art by Natalia Avalar, story by Ryan. A girl's sleepover takes a dark turn, a kind of fun little, after hours, nightly sleepover club, and some of them may have different intentions on what that club is going to be. Then we have the final story, Bad Dog, which is art by Jim Lawson, story by Ryan. He wanted man's best friend. What he got was his worst nightmare. A very fun werewolf story. But yeah, like I said, these are all short stories. These are all available through, you could still get these through RyanLHiggins.com. That's HIGGINS.com. In case you missed out on the Kickstarter, there's an awesome, basically a credits page for all of the artists that, alongside Ryan, who had contributed for this, and all of their social media and stuff. So yeah, this is a giant anthology. I think every single one of these hits so awesome. This was so good. I had a blast with it. Very accessible. Like I said, you don't need to know anything about it. It's all new characters for new readers and such. And this was a blast. Now, Kirby, you got that as well. Thoughts on Laser Brain Comics Halloween special?
Yeah, I'm really glad that I picked this up. It's a lot of fun. I love how it's a bunch of little stories in a nice thick book. They're all very fun, very enjoyable, family friend. I think they're pretty much all family friendly, as far as I can tell, somewhat. And if you know nothing about any of this, Laser Brain Comics, which I didn't, I just got that issue 1 and 2 because of the Kickstarter, so I will be checking those out. But I checked this out and really enjoyed it. But beautiful artwork, lots of fun visuals throughout these. Just the quality of the whole comic itself. It's just nice, thick, beautiful, beautifully done. But yeah, this is so much fun. And now, did you get other goodies with yours?
Yep.
Or you show them off too, or?
Yep. I got that waiting here. I was gonna do that for the last part. I was looking through, kind of thinking about the rating. I see on the back it does say for immature readers, but it still is, like there's nothing too over the top scary. I mean, you're not giving this to your 4 or 5-year-old necessarily, but there's
I'd say out of all of them, the Pumpkin Thieves short story is maybe the most graphic style, but the rest are pretty much, I thought, pretty easy go.
Ironically, the one that didn't have art with it is the most graphic,
Yep.
But the
mentally, visually graphic.
Our Bad Dog story at the end, kind of leads more into PG-13 as far as if you get into some sexual content type of jokes kind of thing, but nothing crap, mostly still comedic, but it's a good one for the parents. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, it says it's for immature readers, but yeah, there could be immature reader of our ages and immature readers of 10-year-olds. That covers a whole wide range. But
I think it fits with a good Spenguli style B horror style stories.
Yeah, and like said, what you said too about the production, all of these, the covers are just it's a real thick, nice cardstock cover, and just everything's just real gorgeous, and the coloring, everything, binding, everything about it is just really, really good work over there.
Yeah, with any other comics nowadays, you'd pay an extra $1.50 for these cardstock style covers.
Yeah. like looking at it, if you want to look at, we got more pages in this one, and what I think the same price of Alligator Loki, and the paper of Laser Brain Comics is way more high quality than. Yep, they're both $5.99 books, and not pitting these against each other, but just kind of comparing about self-publishing work and the quality of the paper and stuff like that. You're getting some real good quality stuff with, and you're supporting a self-published creator in that sense. So.
Yeah.
And in addition to the Kickstarter, there's a lot of bonuses and add-ons and things, and I don't remember which things were specific add-ons or all bonuses. I guess we'll find out here because me and Kirby both have some show and tell. We did get a little sticker, which I believe is Ryan's kind of Laser Brain Comics logo, probably. So yeah, there's a sticker in there. I got this Laser Brain Brigade, which is an official membership card. I have to sign it yet. Okay, he's got one too. So yeah, me and Kirby are members of the, a charter member of the Laser Brain Brigade, which
Number 105.
105. I've got 92. It looks like. Yep. And then I got a button as well. So yep. So I'm wearing the button. I think these were add-on or stretch goal things, but we got some masks which serve as cutout masks of a zombie and a werewolf, or he says they could be used as great backing boards. So it's got a double use there. I was looking at it being like, oh, I should cut these up before the show, and then I need a string yet and popsicle stick or something. So I didn't have enough time for it. We both got these today. And then a sticker sheet. So there's a bunch of fun stickers that are included on there. So I got to decide which what's going to make it to my drawing board. Maybe some, maybe all. We'll see. And this one here, a poster of the all red variant. So yeah, like I'm not sure what tier. If, like I said, I also, because I got the trick or treat tier thing too, so I'm not sure what was all included on whatever, because there's been a lot of Kickstarters as of late, and it's gotten crazy. So
my credit card's telling me all about it right now.
But yeah, so that exhausted all the goodies I had there. But yeah, like I said, I got his stuff last year. I'm happy to get more of the issues, including that all red variant this time around, and then I'm excited to start handing out some copies of the first Laser Brain comic to some people to check out. So awesome work. If you want to reach out to Ryan L. Higgins, you can go to his website, ryanlhiggins.com. That's HIGGINS.com. And he's got information about himself and links to of comic shops throughout the United States of people that are carrying his books, and then ways to get those online as well. So all right, I think that covers it. So that was the Laser Brain Halloween special 2023. And the other thing I want to notice is that he also did an awesome job with the organization, because when we get a pile of these books, we're like, all right, which one you're reading first? Well, what order do these go in? They all have like a fall 2023 or a spring 2023. They have all of those right on the top in the corner boxes. And I just love that, because obviously you're going to have Marvel Comics and legacy numbering and all the number ones and this and that. And I do like the fact that you just have those years right there on the top corners, and it pretty much puts it in order for you. So just want to give an awesome creative shout out for that. Very appreciative detail. All right, that's going to do it for that one. We're going to move over to the next one. Kirby, what you got? Yep.
I hit the pictures instead of volume. All right, we got Creepshow Volume 2, Issue 1. First volume was a ton of fun. I still have yet to check out the Hobo Max series, but apparently the way it sounded, the comics were the same stories that they did for the series, so that's why I want to double check. But yeah, they were very well done. You get 2 stories per comic. They're good. They're newer versions of. They still have the EC Comics feel, the Tales from the Crypt feel, and all that Creepshow. the original Creepshow storylines from the movies and stuff. The artwork's wonderfully done. This one, we get Make Your Choice by Garth Ennis is the writer for that one. We got Becky Cloonan doing the artwork, Lee Luridge and Pat Brasseau. That one, I call it Butt Babies. It was kind of a pretty messed up story that they ended up doing for this one, and I can understand now, knowing that Garth Ennis had his hand in writing this one. I can see it now. But yeah, you get your Creepshow host that likes to start up each story and end each story, so you get that fun little parody throughout, giving you the gist of everything that's going on. And this one's just, I really can't get too deep into it. I mean, you basically got a guy that keeps seeing these unborn babies around in certain nasty situations. That's as far as I really want to go on that storyline. You'll have to read it if you want to get a little deeper into that one. But yeah, it's pretty messed up. I'd say it's the most messed up out of all the stories so far that I've read out of all the Creepshow ones. The second story is Fossil Record. We got Phil Hester writing and penciling this one. Eric Gapster is the inker. Mike Spicer is the colorist, and Pat Brasseau is the letterer. This one, it's basically like the name. It's kids getting into the fossil world, archaeology and stuff, and ends up kind of like someone that he looked up to or whatever, kind of like goes in to his realm and checks out his study, his home, and finds out that he's got all these giant bug-like fossils, but they're just characters that he designed himself from something that he's seen or is trying to find or has dreamt about. And this kid wants to get deeper into it, and as he does, he gets deeper into it and finds his mentor himself, or whatever you want to call him, and you find out what kind of trouble he's got himself into, what kind of obsession that he got obsessed with that he just can't get out of his mind, and it just gets deeper and deeper, and the kid gets involved in it, and it's a fun, interesting archaeological style story. But yeah, these are very well done. If you haven't seen the show, you don't need to. You can just pick up the books. 2 great stories each book, 5 books per volume, I believe. But yeah, Creepshow, great things. This volume 2, so check it out.
And they've all been like standalone stories within each issue, or
yeah, none of them connect. At least not that I'm almost positive none of the volume 1s connected. They're all full, complete stories each one, and 2 per book. So
cool. All right, let's jump over to Katie. What you got for us?
All right, the game is afoot. We have Moriarty Clockwork Empire. This is published by Titan Comics, written by Fred Duval and Jean-Pierre Pecau, inspired by the works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Pencils and inks by Steven Subic. Colors are by Scarlet, and the lettering is by Lauren Bowes. All right, this is a comic using the Sherlock Holmes characters, and it is set in a steampunk Victorian England. Those two things, Sherlock and steampunk, lend to each other very well and are a frequent combo that I love. That's like a guaranteed, hey, I'll check this out. So one thing I want to say at the very beginning, I want to put a warning out there. This book deals heavily with opium and morphine and people doing both of those things, like both in the panels and talking about it. So if that is, something you are sensitive to or don't want to read, I completely understand. You're going to want to skip this book. So the premise is there is a beast man, a monster running around England and terrorizing the town. And at the same time that the esteemed Dr. Jekyll has gone missing, this creature called Hyde has been showing up, and the Hyde is frequenting down in Chinatown at the opium dens, and then all of a sudden, after a time, Dr. Jekyll will appear again, and it's very strange and mysterious. But trouble's a brewing. We open up with our heroes Sherlock Holmes and John Watson playing cards with some members of the aristocrat, and there's some gambling going on. And Sherlock unmasks a mystery that one of the players is not human; they're actually an automaton. So something weird is really going on in London. The boys are on the case, and they start by going to talk to this Dr. Jekyll, because they're like, well, he seems like a knowledgeable person. We'll go talk to him. And of course, trouble happens. Bad guys show up and steal some magic serum and chemicals from Dr. Jekyll's lab. And then shortly thereafter, Hyde goes on a rampage, and our heroes are trailing Hyde and, expecting this is going to happen because Sherlock has one of his hunches, and they end up capturing Hyde because Sherlock has surmised that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are one and the same. So they're like, all right, tell us what's going on here. We find out that Dr. Jekyll has been working on some kind of mystery drug that can make people better, stronger, and faster. And unfortunately, our bad guys in this series have gotten a hold of it, and they're using it to make super soldiers. So Sherlock intentionally gets himself captured by the bad guys and goes to their secret prison / lab / factory and finds out what is going on behind this mystery. They are making super soldiers. They are testing it out on prisoners. And they're also have a manufacturing plant going of these very strange automatons that he saw at the card game. And he's like, well, this is next level. Only one person could do this. It's got to be Moriarty. Now, at this point in the canon, Moriarty has been dead. They killed at Reichenbach Falls. And Sherlock's like, I know that he is dead. And that brings up the idea that Moriarty is not a person. Moriarty is like a catch-all for evil genius, for chaos, almost like a violent version of the Dread Pirate Roberts. And that this group of basically like warmongers are using the guise of Moriarty and inspired by his genius to pull this off. And a whole army of super soldier Hyde-like beastmen gets unleashed on England and is attacking everything, going after these high-value targets, including the Queen. And then the manufacturers have a reason to sell their automatons to the British Empire and be like, hey, we're going to use these to protect you against all of these threats. And then at the end, we have an epic battle between our heroes, our automatons, our beastmen, our good guys, our bad guys. Dr. Jekyll sacrifices himself. The femme fatale of the story gets away to fight another day, and the boys have solved another mystery, and London is safe once again. So for me, this was a very mixed book. I want to break down what I liked and what I thought had been done differently. So I first started reading this, I'm like, wow, this is a lot like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which excellent comic. In fact, you should actually just go read the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I would not consider this a must read for Sherlock fans or fans of any of the Holmes canon. I wouldn't say it's a must read. I appreciate that they wanted to bring all of these different elements together and do something with it. And I think there was a lot of good ideas there. For me, it kind of just got too cluttered with like, all right, what is the main point of conflict here, And then I felt like it got rushed at the end and it didn't resolve as much as I would have liked it to. One thing actually about the original Holmes stories is he often wraps them up a little bit too nicely. So I guess I'm going in the other direction and being like, this was too vague. I never feel bad about picking up a Sherlock Holmes book. Those are excellent stories and they lend themselves very, very well to comics. So I'm not mad about that. I love the steampunk element. We get to see Sherlock flying a steampunk helicopter. That was pretty cool. I wish the roles for the women in the story would have been a little bit deeper. I understand for the time period this might be accurate, but we've seen modern updates to the Sherlock Holmes stories where the female characters have a little bit more going on to them besides just being like pretty. And the female character in here who is called Lady Lee Mai or Lee May. I thought her main purpose was kind of to just be like, oh, well, she was married to Alfred Nobel and inherited his fortune. And then she just sort of stood around and looked pretty and, rattles off plot points to Sherlock. I would have liked to have seen some more development with her, but that's my take on it, one lady's take on it. I got this from the library. I don't regret picking it up. I'm not going to say it's a must read, but it reminds me just how much I do enjoy the Sherlock Holmes canon. Titan Comics has published some other Sherlock books. If you go back 5 years, myself and Dr. Kurt's dad, and I think Jim reviewed some from them. But yeah, this just reminded me how much I enjoy that. It's not a must read, but it won't be a waste of your time. And you should definitely check out those other books that I mentioned. Anyway, that is Moriarty Clockwork Empire from Titan Comics. And that's my review.
And what an excellent review that was, because Katie's a true professional for being able to go through that when there's a giant shark that invaded our YouTube screen.
Oh my goodness gracious.
If that popped up during my review, I wouldn't have been able to keep a straight face. I wouldn't have had to comment. So well done on the review there. Great performance. 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
All right. Jumping over to my next title, we are talking about Werewolf by Night, issue number 1. An Unholy Alliance. Oh boy, his screen went off, so I'm not sure what we're going to get when he turns it back on. All right,
Oh no.
if I can get through this here. An Unholy Alliance. In the shadows of black and white night, Jack Russell races to halt the sacrifice of a young girl at the hands of monsters. Elsa Bloodstone, in all her colorful monster hunting glory, isn't far behind. But can they put their differences aside long enough to save the day? And what would such a partnership even look like? This comic is done by Derek. I'm going to see if there was an autocorrect there. I want to make sure I get that name correct here. Yep, I'm glad I checked it. Oh boy. All right, I'm going to keep reading this here. Derek Landy, and then we have Fran Galan and VC's Joe Sabino. All right. I'm glad Kirby has an appropriate mask for an appropriate title here, talking about monsters and demons and everything that creeps in the night. This is a Werewolf by Night one-shot. It came out a couple weeks ago. I purposely held it off, not only for a Halloween-specific episode, but as well as the Werewolf by Night colorized version on Disney+. I love that MCU special from a year ago that brought us the Man-Thing, but it was mostly in black and white. And this year they colorized it, and yeah, it's beautiful in color as well. So now we have 2 awesome options for that. So that's why I paired it here, so I could talk about this comic as well. This is an awesome one-shot. This is one of those one-shots that you just wish there was an issue 2 and a 3 and a 4, and it just kept going. Having the team up of Elsa Bloodstone and Jack Russell, aka Werewolf by Night, their intros are super awesome. So we have a black and white awesome intro of Werewolf by Night as he's kind of talking about, he's kind of facing off these demons and monsters, and he's kind of heading towards this giant castle that apparently has been kind of relocated throughout time, brick by brick, and just kind of going to these different locations of the world. And then we get the other side of it as Elsa Bloodstone, who is our Marvel Universe, vampire hunter character, monster hunter, and she is on a private jet that happens to be filled with vampires. And but basically, it was her way to get a very cozy and relaxing flight to get to this crazy castle, because both Werewolf by Night and Elsa Bloodstone are on their way to try to save this girl that's been captured by this guy who is basically trying to summon and kind of get all these other gods and demons and stuff into the world, villain things, take over the world and all that fun stuff. But when Elsa Bloodstone and Werewolf by Night see that they're both there separately, but there for the same reasons, then we get a fun team up. They flirted with a past romance, so we see some of that back and forth. They're just awesome art all the way through, just real creepy stuff. Even though there is color throughout this book, they find the perfect times to use strictly black and white, side by side with the color panels and stuff like that. So it just constantly goes back and forth. It's super creepy. It's fun. It's action packed. You don't need to know anything about any of these characters. So if you've never read Elsa or Werewolf by Night, Jack Russell, this is a very good intro point. It's a one-shot comic, very awesomely done. Like I said, the worst thing about this is the fact that it's a one-shot, and this isn't part of an ongoing or a mini series or something. So hopefully this does well for them, and they want to bring this creative team back, because I would definitely read a month-by-month adventure of Elsa and Jack Russell, just going on the same mission and trying to work together and stuff. So this was a blast. I absolutely loved it. So whether you've just seen the MCU special and being introduced to those characters, this is a perfect time to pick something up, because you don't need to know anything else about the Marvel Universe to enjoy this comic. So yeah, that is Werewolf by Night 2023, issue number 1. All right, Kirby.
I got Mercy Sparx. Oh shit, she's back. It's a $1.99 special. I didn't know it was kind of like a reintroduction to her, to just a nice little teaser to kind of get you back into the storyline, know what the character is all about and stuff like that. But it's definitely got my eye. I don't remember ever reading anything with her in the past, but now I do have the next comic coming out, which I believe this is the Heaven's Devil. Well, Heaven's Devil returns this fall, but
Devil's Due Publishing.
Yeah, I did pre-order that. So, but basically, her old partner kind of, and you get the introduction of what she is, her demon form, why she's like that. It's basically heaven set her up to hunt. She's kind of in between. They say in between heaven, hell, and purgatory. She's somewhere in that era, that period, or whatever you want to call it. That's where she's from, where she was created from. And she's basically hunting down heaven's angels that have went rogue. And her old partner kind of hunts her down. That's this guy right here. He hunts her down. They've been separated for 5 years. Mercy hasn't contacted him, nothing, returned any of his messages or anything. And she just went rogue and disappeared after she supposedly cleaned up all the angels that she had to deal with. And he hunts her down because there's a new mission for her, something that we're gonna find out in her next comic and stuff. But he finds her in an interesting place out in the middle of nowhere, doing some interesting things, and it's a nice little hookup between the two, and get the introduction, get all that over with, and then kind of leaves you set up for the next story that we're going to have coming up in the future. And basically, yeah, you get a nice catch up on everything. So if you know nothing about this character, this is a great little catch up for you. It taught me basically everything I needed to know about her and her partner, and other things about them and other people around them. And it was nicely done to give you that, instead of just throwing you under the bus and basically get you going, saying, here, this is where we left off and this is what's going on. So for being a nice little $1.99 thing, it is kind of thin. It's definitely a $1.99 comic, but you get your colorized artwork, and then it also jumps into some fallback storylines with some, if I can't even get the right page, black and white artwork to give you some backstory in there, and just moves you around so you get that little history, the difference and stuff, what's going on. But yeah, November 2023, it sounds like No More Angels Left to Fall will be coming out. So next month I will be reviewing the first new Mercy Sparx book. So
yeah, it looks like 2008 is where this all kind of kicked off. There's a couple different kind of mini runs and different trade paperbacks and omnibus paperbacks, and then There's even a hack slash crossover, a 2-issue one with Mercy as well.
Yep.
So yeah, there's.
And then Josh Blaylock was the creator and writer and drawer of this comic, and then Alyssa Elthiftheru and Carlos De Marino had their hands in it. So
Okay. Cool. All right. Next one on my list here. Another, once again, kind of curating a Halloween-ish type of setup here. We have Crypt of Shadows #1. This is the 2023 edition one-shot from Marvel Comics. Reopening the Crypt. Kirby's screen went black again, so I'm curious to see what monster is going to pop up during this intro. Once more, as All Hallows Eve draws nigh, the dust-covered slab that seals shut the crypt, blocking out the sun and casting it forever in shadow, has creaked open to let the darkness loose to prey on the Marvel Universe. Be they mercenary or mage, guided by law or by rage, and oh my lord, that is quite the image that I just saw over on YouTube. Subscribe to Crimson Cowl Comic Club on YouTube. Our heroes will face their terror, and they'd best pray their spines are sturdy enough for the job, or the crypt they find may well be their own. This has a lot of contributors, so I didn't want to write them down. I'm just going to read them off here. We've got stories and contributions from all of these people. Al Ewing, Paul Davidson, Rain Barreto, Travis Lanham, Jordan D. White, Steve Orlando, Paul Azaceta, Travis Lanham, Drew Baumgarter, Declan Shelby, Alex Linz, Matt Milla, Travis Lanham, Lauren Amard, Kevin Scott, Devmela Pramanik, and Niraj Menon, Travis Lanham, Mark Basso, Sarah Gailey, Idar Messias, Jonas Trinada, Michael Wiggum, Travis Lanham, Sarah Brunstad. Apologize to all of those people and how I pronounced all that. So there we go. A lot of people contribute to this. What this setup is kind of picking up from the last one with the idea that the Crypt of Shadows is this location that exists within the Sanctum Sanctorum of Doctor Strange's house. And we do have a narrator who later on introduces himself as we get into the story. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't remember if this, I assume this was the character from last year. I don't remember much from that one, only read it the one time. But if you haven't read this, I'm not going to give it away on the identity of this character. There is a connection to Doctor Strange and why this person is basically in the mirror dimension. But he's kind of our narrator. And we jump back and forth with a bunch of these stories, a bunch of short stories. And we've got one just about, this kind of haunted building, this house, and how this it exploded, and like one of these bricks went into the body of someone and basically messed him up and haunted him and everything. Scarlet Witch is part of the story, so it's cool to see Wanda show up for that tale. We get the in-between narration from our mystery narrator from the mirror dimension. We have another story that is mummy related and dealing with the mummy and mummy related things, but the one character that you maybe wouldn't immediately say, as the detail, just kind of the colors of Kirby's mask seem to the camera catches up to it, or you got closer or something, and it's just, it's freaky. And Deadpool shows up for this story. So Deadpool and the oh boy, I'm just gonna keep looking at the comic here. Deadpool and the Mummy are kind of having at it, as they both have a common enemy. He's gotten closer, folks. Maybe just subscribe to us on iTunes. Maybe that's just the best way to consume the show. Let's see here. Yeah, so it's a Mummy story. He's gotten closer, and that iPad's gonna fall right off the desk if he gets any closer, folks. Or he's gonna take my soul over, because that's what he's looking at here. The Man Thing is in here, and if I show my comic a lot more, I don't see the screen anymore. So this is a story involving the Man Thing and Daredevil. What's awesome about this is the fact that there's a whole thing that is surrounded with the lore of Man-Thing. The quote is, "Whatever knows fear burns at the Man-Thing's touch," and you actually see some of that in the MCU Werewolf by Night special, with the fact that if somebody literally touches the Man-Thing and they are scared of him, they will, burst into flames. And Daredevil basically runs into the Man-Thing in this and kind of has a confrontation. But what happens when someone who fears the Man-Thing that bursts into flames comes in contact with the Daredevil, who is knows no fear? So the man without fear is the official tagline. Now there's fire involved, folks. This I'm going to go back what I said. Subscribe to us on YouTube because there is fire, and now I'm fearing for the safety of everyone. There's Grogu back there. Grogu's got a mask on though, so he's part of this, I bet. But yeah, so I do like it's an interesting idea of taking both elements of fear and the lack thereof and pitting those two characters into the same story. So that was very well done. And then we do get a Werewolf by Night Jack Russell story. And Jack Russell's story basically comes in contact with Kraven the Hunter. Kraven the Hunter, who, more and more as we get more Marvel comics, he keeps kind of showing up into our stories. He's definitely been around forever, but he always seems to be popping up. And that's also because there is a Kraven the Hunter movie coming from the Sony universe of Spider-Man villains that's coming out next year. So yeah, there seems to be a nice little push there of Kraven the Hunter happening. So yeah, Kraven the Hunter and Werewolf by Night. Oh, he didn't leave. He fooled us. He turned off the camera thinking, all right, we're going to get that nice shark again. But no, it's weird. I don't know what that is. Some kind of like demonic pumpkin it looks like or something. I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, so those are a bunch of short stories that are all narrated by a very special guest within this comic. It's very introductory. Once again, I've said that for everything here so far, but it's all true. I always like having that entry point. I love comics that make it. Oh wait, no, he didn't have a mask on that time. It's just Kirby's. So yeah, this is a very, very good comic for those that want to check it out. And you don't really need to know anything about any of these characters, even the Marvel ones. It's still fun little stories that are threaded through this mystery narrator. So that's the Crypt of Shadows one shot, and they've had a series of those now. And I think they had a series a couple decades ago and stuff, but they've been doing a one shot now for Halloween.
I had a thought.
Yes.
Fear the Fire of the Man-Thing would be a heck of a band name.
Oh, heck yeah. If anyone's listening, I would buy, no matter what genre of music that is, I'm buying all those songs and albums. So that is awesome. Cool. So yeah, that is going to do it for my list there. Kirby?
All right. From our friend, Jeff Belke. He had his hand in writing this, the third issue of Storm Kids. This is Stanley in the Haunted House, a Halloween adventure. Stanley and friends are sitting around a campfire, eating s'mores and telling ghost stories. Bandit, being a curious raccoon, asks his friends if they think ghosts are real. Everyone believes in them but Stanley. Well, there's only one way to find out for sure. They decide, and that's to spend the night in a haunted house, like Bunny Burrow Manor. Will this make a believer out of Stanley? You don't need to read any of the other stories to get into this one. We have Jeff Belke, Walter Carzone, Horatio Ottolini, and Janice Chang all had their hands involved in this book. The other two stories, definitely read them if you like this type of story. It's family friendly. The first one was about a haunted house. The second one's about a haunted forest. And then we go back to another haunted house in Bunny Burrow Manor here. They get together. It's got a little bit of Ghostbusters, I think, and Disney's haunted house influence throughout this. The artwork's beautiful. They go into a house and they just happen to come across a couple ghosts and possibly a couple more ghosts, and they hear things and find these little hidden rooms throughout the place, throughout the mansion, and eventually they find out that someone's watching them. They notice that there's different things that are happening that are catching their eye. Stanley's girlfriend, I can't remember if it's girlfriend or wife. I think it's girlfriend. She's out on the hunt with her camera trying to get pictures of any type of ghost activity happening throughout the house. And my favorite character, of course, is Fang. And here you get a backpack shot, but there's Fang, our little werewolf type character. He's got his backpack full of candy that he has to bring with him. He can't go anywhere without snacking. He's constantly got the munchies, and he happens to lose his pack at one moment, and some stuff happens that's all kinds of fun for him. But yeah, we get the gang together. They go in, they try to spend the night in a haunted house, and some things happen that you can imagine with all, if you followed any other haunted house stories. And we get to meet some characters that from the past that may or may not be known, and it's just very well done. I really like what Jeff did with this one. I'm glad he had his hands in writing this one, and he's also the inker of it. But yeah, it's done by John Carpenter's Presents the Storm King's Chronicles, and it's all ages friendly. And like I said, you do not need to read any one of them. You can pick up and read individually. They're perfectly good standalone stories, and they're perfect for the Halloween season and fun little nighttime stories to read the kiddies. Nothing too scary, just a lot of fun and hilarities along the way. So check those out.
Just as long as you're not wearing those masks while you're reading it to kids. So.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Well, you might not want.
All right, that is going to do it for the weekly reviews, but we do have another segment, and that is the news.
And now the news.
Welcome to part 2 of our previews preview. Go back to the previous episode to see the Marvel and DC selections that we had from the October catalogs. There weren't too many. Most of the stuff was ongoing, but the catalogs are much bigger than what we could talk about. So always recommend checking them out at your local comic shop or online retailers. But this will be the giant previews catalog here. Looks like this on one side, looks like this on the other side. This is the independent publishers and the merchandise and the apparel and the collectibles and all that. So I'm going to highlight something from Keen Spot Entertainment. Happy Astronaut number 3. I'm not going to read the synopsis because we're, at the time of this recording, we're just days away from issue number 2. Issue number 2 of Happy Astronaut has my pinup in, so it's going to be a hot selling item. Make sure you get that before everybody else rushes to pick up my debut pinup. But Keen Spot Entertainment, Happy Astronaut number 3 from Matt Fife and Matt Rogers. And yep, they're doing every other month. They have an issue coming out and building up to a potential trade paperback release. But yeah, so what's cool about this one is not only do you have your regular cover from Matt Rogers, co-creator and the artist for the story, but you also have Scoot McMahon. Scoot McMahon has a variant cover here that is super awesome. So I'm going to highlight both of their covers side by side. But yeah, we talk about both of these gentlemen quite often on this very show, and so it's cool to see their work side by side with Happy Astronaut number 3 from Keen Spot Entertainment. You can get them through your local comic shop, online retailers, or keenspotshop.com. Kirby?
Black Ops X came in America. I don't know if it's not really versus. I think they team up. It's a one-shot by Antarctic Press. Cute Killer Rabbit, Sexy Costumed Heroes, all Tim Lim. The independent comics crossover is finally here. Task Force 22-114, codename Black Ops, must stop the dastardly apex moth and his cryptic goons from awakening a legendary creature with the help of Cayman America's nemesis, Vermilion Masquerade. It will take Black Hops, Cayman America, and Cayman Comet to collectively combat this cataclysmic calamity from coming to fruition. That's a little tongue twister if you said it fast enough, but yeah, I love the first Black Hops story one shot that I picked up, so I'm definitely getting this one.
Cool. Katie?
Okay, so from Boom Comics, we have Dune, House Harkonnen, the hardback volume 2. You can also get volume 1. If you remember, I was big on the hype train for Dune House Atreides, loved that, was really excited for this, and then decided I wanted the money to, put towards going to New Zealand, so I was going to trade weight it. I'm glad to see that volumes 1 and 2 of the trades are out, and the release date is February 28th, 2024, and it will cost you $25. So check out the Dune, House Atreides, and House Harkonnen books from Boom Comics.
Cool. If you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, then you'll see I did a costume change too by turning on the light, and this light is like making me look like Casper the Friendly Ghost here. So I've got a real, powder-esque appearance happening on the show. From Boom Comics, Boom Studios, we have Animal Pound number 1 of 4. I believe I did get the ash can of this. I don't recall if that's out yet, but when animals grow tired of being caged, killed, and sold off, it's only a matter of time before they've had enough. When an uprising puts a pound in control of the animals, they quickly find themselves as comrades, united against everything that walks on 2 legs. But with this newfound power comes a sudden challenge. How best to lay the groundwork for his new democracy as they write their first constitution. I've talked about many kind of like animal books, whether it's Animosity and things like that, and Stray Dogs, dealing with very, it's not for everybody, for animal lovers and stuff like that. Some of these comics can get pretty graphic. They do show, this is a variant cover at least, but they do show some stuff here, and it definitely has kind of like a horror overtone or undertone, whatever the correct word usage is. But so what got me to want this one is the fact that Tom King is writing it, and it is a mini series, so that helps. Like if it was an ongoing, that's something, hey, maybe I'll check out issue 1 or that ash can they got coming. But 4-issue series, and it's Tom King along with Peter Gross and Tamara Bonvillain, so I'll definitely give that a shot here. But Tom King knows how to tell a story. That's a fact that's been proven time and time again. So I'm just going to check out Animal Pound number 1 from Boom Studios. Kirby?
Creepshow Holiday Special 2023 number 1 one-shot by Image Comics. Creepshow is here to put the fear in your cheer. You've heard of Santa, you've heard of Krampus, but have you ever heard of the Christmas Man? Witness the birth of a new horrifying holiday classic from Daniel, Don't Call Me Santa Claus, The Shape of Water. Well, he did The Shape of Water. And Jolly Jonathan Wayshak from Skin Crawl. Then Jovial James Asmus from Survival Street and Rick and Morty. And lively Letitia Kadonishi from House of Slaughter deliver a cautionary tale about stealing the wrong parcel in Package Thief. And you just seen my review of Creepshow, and I'm sure this is in the same style, so should be decent.
Yeah, with October isn't the only month that you can have a scary time, so.
Yep.
Katie?
Okay, so over at Kaboom, I have Orcs, the Gift. An alliance between orcs, crows, and elves is the last thing anyone would expect, but times have changed since the defeat of the wizard. How long will this unlikely alliance last? Pick up this book. It is in shops on December 6th, 2023 for $5.99. About a year ago, I reviewed another book from this Orcs series. It was called Orcs, the Curse, and I noticed they did have some trades of some earlier series in the catalog. I liked it because it was showing the orcs as the good guys, which is a really good change of pace from kind of the fantasy tropes, and just overall, I enjoyed it. I felt like this is probably accessible to all ages. It is from Kaboom, but I'm glad to see that they're continuing on and would love to read some more from Orcs, The Gift. Check it out.
Cool. We're now here joined by some kind of skeleton
Oh,
art guy. So welcome to the show over on YouTube, Crimson Cowl Comic Club on YouTube.
Heidi ho.
Also from Boom, and keeping with the scary Christmas December theme, Stuff of Nightmares Sleigh Ride #1. This is from the R.L. Stine comic series. I talked about Stuff of Nightmares, which I think was 4 issues. There was another one-shot that came out that's in my pile I got to read yet, but now here's a new one called Sleigh Ride. If you dare, get into the sinister spirit of the season and join the Nightmare Keeper for a demented Saint Nick story. One who decks the halls with holiday horror, crafting a very merry and macabre Christmas unlike any other. As malls continue to die, a down-and-out former mall Santa named Heinrich Fiddler's rage turns to madness, and he's dead set on making sure department store shopping isn't the only thing that's deceased. Treasured Fear Street and Goosebumps author R.L. Stine is joined by Bram Stoker Award-nominated artist Pius Bach from Eat the Rich as well. I talked about that book for another tale straight from your nightmares. These are one-shots here, so I assume, once again, very consumable for if you haven't read the other ones, but a lot of fun, different. Ooh, Jenny Frison has a variant on that one. And Francesco Francavilla. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's going to be. Oh, yeah, I did get that Jenny Frison one because it's got this cool, like, creepy red-eyed Santa in the windowsill. There's a lot of good stuff here, but yep, a lot of cool people. That Stuff of Nightmares Sleigh Ride #1. Kirby?
Flesh-Eating Cheerleaders, 1969, #1 one-shot by Dren Productions. Back in 1969, as the Summer of Love was just beginning, the Earth was invaded by aliens. It wasn't televised. The aliens infiltrated our planet completely undetected. They did so by infecting a naive young cheerleader and a wandering hippie. The aliens turned these 2 young women into murderous cannibals, hell-bent to satisfy their own needs, no matter what the expense might be. Join us for this original tale that tells the story of the as-yet unknown pair of alien worms that have been living among us undetected for decades. I read the first volume of it. I wasn't going to go on beyond, but since this is a one-shot and it's taking us back in time, we might get a little original history. I got to check it out.
Cool. Katie?
All right, at Dynamite, we have a one-shot from the Red Sonja universe. It is Legendary Red Sonja. When we last saw the legendary world's Red Sonja, she was living in the pirate's life aboard her ship, the Nautilus, but times have changed. It looks like Dynamite's doing this whole theme with a legendary this month. Not too read up on what that is, but they put Red Sonja in this really cool steampunk pirate's costume. She looks awesome. She's got a gun. I started reading. I've talked about this before, but surprisingly, I actually enjoy Red Sonja quite a bit. We have Sean Gordon Murphy doing one of the covers. He's cool. This comes out on December 6th, 2023. It's written by Katana Collins, and it costs $5.99. Check out Legendary Red Sonja and all the legendary one-shots from Dynamite Comics.
Yeah, the legendary Vampirella was really fun.
Awesome.
So yeah, it looks like Christmas is going to give Halloween a run for its money for horror because over at Archie Comics, we also have Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the holiday special. So bringing in, Sabrina gets a holiday special now too. Celebrate the winter solstice with Sabrina Spellman in the special holiday one-shot that returns to the acclaimed world of Sabrina the Teenage Witch series. First, in the longest night at Sabrina's magic boarding school, she and her friends work together on the longest night of the year to save their friend enthralled by a dark and clever beast, impossible to kill in his own world, and difficult to kill in our own. Then, in a very Spellman solstice, a flash backstory shows young Zelda and Hilda breaking tradition to go to a school dance. But when Hilda joins forces with one of the ghosts of the solstice past, it curses their night out. Writer Kelly Thompson, who I love, and artist Veronica and Andy Fish, who I also love, returned for another bewitching Sabrina story, along with the team of writer Danielle Page and artist Veronica Johnson for a festive flashback story. Yeah, this creative team worked on a mini series that they did for Sabrina. This Veronica Fish cover is just amazing. Kelly Thompson's awesome. Can't wait to check out everybody who was involved with Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the holiday special.
Yeah, and sticking with the ho holiday horror, we got Grim Fairy Tales 2023 Holiday Pinup Special #1 shot from Xenoscope Entertainment. Just in time for the happiest time of year comes the Grim Fairy Tales 2023 Holiday Pinup Special. Get ready to check out all of your favorite Grim Universe heroines and villainesses spreading some holiday cheer in their sultry winter outfits. Some of the industry's top artists contribute gorgeous pinups of the Grim Universe's most popular female characters in a stunning collection, and it also includes a never-before published Grim Fairy Tales short story. And like I've said before, the short stories have been wonderful, so I'll keep picking these up.
Cool. Katie?
We have Cat and Gamer Volume 4. This is a bit of an advanced solicit. I do have this one pre-ordered. It is a manga from Dark Horse written by Wataru Nadatani and art and colors by also Wataru Nadatani. The premise is a woman who's an office worker and loves gaming, rushes home every day to game, ends up adopting a stray kitty that shows up one day at the office. And because it's so gosh darn cute, she just can't let it go. And now all of a sudden she has someone else to care for. And so we get to see the adventures of, adopting a pet for the first time and understanding how a kitten develops, like in terms of like leveling up in a game. Is really cute. It's a fun slice of life. The cat's adorable. I've had a lot of fun with it before. They're very comforting. It costs $11.99. It will be released in February, and if you want, Volume 3 just came out last week, so you should also pick up Volumes 1 through 3 of Cat and Gamer, and that's my selection. Next.
Cool. Give a little shout out for Haunted House Love Story, #2. This is from Winston Gambro, the writer and artist that we had on this very show, and he joined us for a club episode as well. Issue #1 comes out in November. We, kind of promote that. We all got to read that one here, but the story continues with issue #2 in December. So I'm not going to read the synopsis because we are still waiting for issue #1 for the mass audience. So that is Haunted House, a Love Story, issue #2.
Speaking of some more cute cats, we got Hellboy Winter Special Yule Cat #1 one shot by Dark Horse Comics. Oh, come on back there. Hellboy travels to Reykjavik. I can't say it the way I'm supposed to, but where children are disappearing and a giant beast has been spotted. Could it be the infamous Yule Cat of Icelandic lore? Fan favorite Hellboy artist Matt Smith writes and draws this chilling wintry one shot. And it's got an awesome cover of a giant Yule Cat chasing Hellboy down. So I'm buying it mainly for the cover. Hopefully the story is just as good.
Cool. Katie?
Okay, from Webtoons Unscrolled, we have The Cursed Princess Club, Volume 3. Talked about this at our club patio party a few months ago. It tells the story of Gwendolyn, who is a princess with her sisters and has made some new friends with the Cursed Princess Club. If you want, volumes 1 and 2 are available right now. Actually, Walmart had volume 2, so pick that up. It's written and illustrated by Lamb Cat and will be released on January 3rd for $18.99. Or if you want, you can order a hardcover for $25.99. This is a good all ages update to some fairy tales and taking some tropes and doing fun things with them while still being really friendly, and has a lot of heart about, being who you are and being true to yourself in a challenging world. And seeing people for the beauty and the kindness that's in their hearts and minds, and not just, being like, oh, they look different, I'm not gonna talk to them. Really nice. I enjoyed it quite a bit. That's Cursed Princess Club Volume 3 from Webtoons Unscrolled.
All right. From Distillery, the new publisher that has like a couple dozen like amazing creators, they're putting out their first issues of the new series, and the next one having the big creative name of Mirka and Delpho, one of Jim's favorite here in the show. We've talked about her work several times. It's like Blasphemous, but it's spelled blasphemous. So Blasphemous #1. It's a new series debut. In a world where pop stars have ascended to divinity and the masses bow in veneration. Veneration. Yeah. Okay. And the masses bow in veneration to a new generation of viral superstars. Angels and demons thrive on this exaltation and revel in the spotlight that grants them unimaginable power. Lilia, I believe, the reigning queen of pop, finds her throne shaken by a newcomer radiating with, and there's a lot of big words here, enigmatic charm, and her fans waver and the public eye threatens to wander. Clelia and her demonic agent, Father Lev, are thrust into a battle for dominance on this exhilarating stage of music and mysticism. How far will they go to defend her reign and unravel the mystery of this sensational new threat? Yeah, like I said, I'm picking up pretty much all the first issues that are coming out for Distillery. And this one's Mirka and Delpho, so that's kind of an extra bonus. But yeah, I'll give it a shot, see how it is. Curious to see what Distillery's overall theme, if they have like I think there's two things waiting in my stack I got to read from two individual series that they have started. So I'm curious to see if there's an overall kind of like when you get like Aftershock and it's a very horror centric thing. Boom has kind of expanded over the years, but you kind of get a different flavor from each publisher. So I'm curious to see what's up with Distillery. That is Blasphemous #1.
Holiday Spirits graphic novel by Band of Bards, collecting 10 original stories of Christmas past, present, and future. This anthology is filled with suspense and thrills, brought to you by 22 super talented indie creators. Each story is introduced by the three ghosts of Christmas, made famous by the book The Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This horror anthology is a must-have under the tree this year. And 10 original stories feels like they're going to be complete stories. So yeah, I like to check out a variety of artists with a bunch of stories.
Cool. Katie?
All right. So deep into the independent pages, we have The First Adventure of Sherlock Holmes, A Study in Scarlet, illustrated. So this is taking the first Arthur Conan Doyle story that introduces our characters of Dr. John Watson and Sherlock Holmes. And I don't want to spoil it. It's been spoiled before, but it's a pretty important one to the canon. And this is going to be a illustrated graphic novel with art done by Vincent Malley, which is hoping to capture the joyful side of an animated feature as if it was created by Hayao Miyazaki. So that's going to be really interesting. Sherlock and kind of a Studio Ghibli style. Pretty cool. And since we talked about another Sherlock book today, this caught my eye. It is $25 and it's available on November 8th, 2023.
Cool. Fantagraphics has a spotlight. Hey, we got a Mexican wrestler that's joined the chat here. We have Fantagraphics has a section that is talking about series that is being returned to publication. The award-winning The Complete Peanuts, Charles Schultz's Peanuts. When I had what's the Comixology Unlimited for a while, they had like all of them on there, and I started reading them and got to a certain point where I'm like, I think I just want to collect these. So I'm making the bold move to start doing this volume by volume, because there's only 26 volumes of this. collecting all of the Peanuts comic strips from 1950 to the year 2000. So there's only 26 of these books that I got to get and read them all. So it doesn't seem that daunting. But I'm going to start little by little. But so you can go in there and see. There's a bunch of different formats. So I'm deciding if I'm going hardcover or soft cover. I'm just there's gift set boxes and stuff like that. So I'm just doing all my research to figure out and to make sure the ones that are like actively in print, not that I start with the hardcover ones and realize like, oh, all the soft covers are available, but you can only get half of the hardcovers. So a lot of research to do, but I'm going to start small, just get one volume at a time. But yeah, they allow you to do that through Fantagraphics.
Yeah, you can go broke collecting newspaper comic books. It's like I noticed Garfield just hit his 75th book.
I will say this, according to Amazon, it looks like the paperback of volume 1 is like 12 to 14 bucks and a hardcover is like 20. I'm not sure how the other ones get, if they have more demand or something, but I think they're doing enough with the reprints, so hopefully that can bring it down. But yeah, it's a lot to buy. So.
Yep. We got Scary Christmas Volume 4, number 1, one shot by American Mythology. It's a new American mythology holiday tradition. You're not going to find any sugar plums or singing snowmen in these pages. Join us for another twisted tinsel terror fest, just in time for the horror days. Have a fright before Christmas with 3 tales of holiday madness that'll make even your Aunt Edna's fruitcake seem safe. Get your stocking stuffed with demons and dark lore and the real secret about how a fat man in a red suit laid claim to your favorite holiday. You may not want to stay up late for these stories. Then again, you may not have a choice. Ho ho horror at its bloody best. All the other ones were wonderful. The stories were great. So I'm going to keep following the tradition.
The Aunt Edna thing, I was thinking it's Aunt Bethany in Christmas Vacation that has the, she wrapped up her damn cat and all that. But
yep,
wait, that sounded familiar. But yeah, any Aunt Edna is going to definitely have a fruitcake that's questionable. So no matter what. Katie?
Okay, so I actually heard about this like 10 years ago when I was really deep into my Sherlock phase, so I was excited to see it again. We have Watson and Holmes, A Scandal in Harlem trade paperback. So most of the Sherlock Holmes characters are in public domain one way or another. Of course, rights get complicated with movies and stuff. Just go with it. And the concept behind this book is okay. So classic Sherlock and Watson are upper middle class white guys in London. What if we use the same spirit of those characters solving mysteries and tell the story with characters who are African American or Black? And I know that there's a right way and a wrong way to do race swapping, and I do feel like this is the right way to do it because they're not just like retelling the exact same story. We are taking the spirit of those characters and breathing new life into them, and I like it because I feel like everyone should have a chance to see them represented in these epic heroes and incredible figures of literature. Like, and that just seems like fair and right to me. And you know what, I've not seen an adaptation of Holmes and Watson done like this before, so I think that's really cool. There are some other stories in that same imprint. It's called Noir is the New Black. There's another one that looks like it's a single, oh, I take that back, a trade paperback. And then this work is also highlighting the creators are from, why can't I speak? The creators are African American. And it will be in stores December 27th, and it will cost $25. The second trade will be in stores November 8th, and will also cost $25. I think at one point these started out their life as like a Kickstarter book or a web book, so that's why they're getting reprints right now. But I was just actually excited to see these in the catalog after hearing about them 10 years ago, and I do truly feel that everyone, like regardless of their skin color or ethnicity, should have a chance to see themselves as these epic heroes. And like, that just seems fair to me that, yeah, why couldn't Holmes and Watson be African American and solving mysteries in modern day America? You know what? There's been a lot of adaptations, and I think this is another positive addition to the Holmes canon. Check it out and see what you think.
Cool. While you're checking that out, you can subscribe to Crimson Cowl Comic Club on YouTube to see the yet another new mask that Kirby has on his face there. So this one, it would seem less disturbing compared to some of the other ones, but I think that makes it more disturbing based on the size of it. I have one more previews pick here. This one, I'm always excited when I get to talk about this book from Random House Graphic. We are talking about Mayor Goodboy. Mayor Goodboy once again, but this time, Mayor Goodboy turns bad. Uh-oh. Everyone's favorite dog Mayor is back in this hilarious graphic novel series featuring all new hijinks and an all new fun. Goodbye politics, goodbye stardom. Mayor Goodboy is turning over a new leaf, and this time he's going bad. Maybe even bad to the bone. Yeah, we knew that was coming. Mayor Goodboy might not be as good as the town of Greenwood thought. In fact, it turns out that Abby and Aaron's favorite very good boy might actually have been a bad boy this whole time. Yes, this is the third volume of this awesome Mayor Goodboy series by Dave Scheid and Miranda Harmon. I'm always excited about that. I have reached out to Dave Scheid, and he is excited for a future appearance on this very show. So stay tuned for that. Maybe something closer to the release of this, but we're definitely going to follow through on that in the future. In celebration of that, with Mayor Goodboy being the previews, and with the Halloween drawings that I've been doing on my art pages, I'm doing an exclusive reveal, which coincidentally might actually be out by the time this episode drops, but it's exclusive to the people here. I drew Mayor Goodboy as a Dracula dog, so there is Mayor Goodboy as Dracula, giving you yet another reason to subscribe to the Crimson Cowl Comic Club on YouTube to see all of this stuff that doesn't translate in audio. All right, so that's it for my previews. Kirby, anything left for you there?
Takio Complete Collection trade paperback by Dark Horse Comics. This is written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by Michael Avon Oeming. Taki and Olivia are sisters in an adoptive family, and they're driving each other crazy. Each day, their overprotective mother makes them walk to school together, eat lunch together, and play together. They can't get away from each other. But when a secret experiment goes catastrophically wrong, the squabbling siblings suddenly find that they have superpowers. They're the first actual superheroes in the entire world, and it is awesome. But are the girls ready to face the daunting challenges posed by their amazing new abilities? And is the rest of the world ready for real-life superheroes? Collects the original graphic novel Takio and its sequel miniseries. And this kind of caught my eye because Taki being one of the characters, I'm thinking maybe Taki Soma had some influence on it. That's Michael Avon Oeming's partner. Now with Brian Michael Bendis part of this, and that's quite the team out. So looking forward to checking that out.
Yeah, I've championed those books. I think before the Crimson Cowl Comic Club was a thing, I would talk about them on the former podcast, AB Conversation, where like it was Brian Michael Bendis's daughter had like contributions to this series, and I've always wanted more from it, but it's always kind of being reprinted and kind of redistributed through different publishers and stuff. So yeah, it's very fun superhero stuff. I dig it. Cool. Katie?
Okay, so quick update on that last one that I was talking about. It looks like, yes, the physical printed copies are forthcoming, but if you are an ebook reader, they are available as a part of Kindle Unlimited or Comixology. I went ahead and grabbed the Kindle of that for $9. And then my last pick this month is, it's advertised as a number 4, but they might have sold me on a number 1. It's called Ex Yakuza and a Stray Kitten. This is a manga graphic novel, and it's the final one in the series. An ex Yakuza member, which is the Japanese mafia, has adopted a adorable little kitten named Sabu, and together they opened up an animal rescue cafe called Cafe Fluffy. I guess I'm on a kick with cute cats because cats are nice. I'm not able to take care of a pet right now, so I guess I'm getting it vicariously through books and YouTube. This will be released on December 13th, 2023. It will cost $14. I would assume volumes 1 through 3 are similar pricing. This is the last one in the series, so fans pick it up, and I might be reviewing volume 1 of Ex Yakuza and Stray Kitten. Check it out.
All right, whatever you got left, Kirby, you can fire away.
Yeah, real simple. They have curse words, the whole damn thing, compendium, trade paperback. Damon's been wanting to do a review of this, so I don't have all of them, so I figure, what the heck, I'll go this route. It's by Image Comics, Charles Soule, Ryan Brown from 8 Billion Genies and stuff. I've heard great things, so I'm looking forward to that. Yep. And the last thing I want to mention is Zombilenium. They have a double volume 5 and 6 coming out, which I only have volumes 1 to 4. I didn't know they were going to do this. I was super happy when I heard this. If you like demons and theme parks and beautiful hardcover, oversized books, artwork's awesome. Just very well done. I love the stories. You can catch my reviews in the past from them. But yeah, Zombilenium, you can get them all 6 volumes now. So they're out there. And that's it for me.
Cool. So once again, recommend to check with your local comic shop. Ask for the previews catalogs because there's like 500 plus pages just in the regular previews alone. We can only barely scratch the surface when we talk about what we're excited about. So check out your local comic shop. Check out your online retailers. Go through those previews, letting not only the store and the publishers and the creators know about what books that you want, but also ensuring that you get them and they're ordered and reserved for you. All right, that is going to do it then for our show. Quick round of plugs. What we do here, you can catch all of the written plugs in the show credits. But Crimson Cowl Comic Club, we have many places across the internet. You can go to crimsoncowl.com for info on original webcomics. You can go to Crimson Cowl Comic Club on YouTube and hit subscribe and like and all of that fun stuff. Comment along. Also, an exclusive to the YouTube page is a giant Mighty Con Milwaukee 2023 recap. Myself and David, we brought on Kirby to talk about his experience there shopping the floor of the con. We brought on the creators, Yasmin and Darian from Forged in Gold, Greg Schmidt from Schmidt and Giggle, and Amy Riguti. All of those people. It's a 3-hour awesome Mighty Con recap special, and it's only available on YouTube. The Crimson Cowl, all one word, on Instagram, Crimson Cowl Comic Club on iTunes. Subscribe, rate, and review. Tell a friend about the show. Crimson Cowl Comic Club at yahoo.com if you want to reach out to us. Under the Cowl of MS is a spin-off podcast that Kirby has. Anything you want to promote for Under the Cowl of MS?
I got my first interview up with Chad Culch, and I've got an edited version coming up to make it a little smaller because I finally figured out how to do some video editing. You can check out, I got another new unpacking video coming up, which mentions the book that me and Anthony talked about
Laser Brain Halloween
today at the beginning of this, Laser Brain Comics. So you can check out that unpacking. I got lots of other fun comic stuff on there. NHL, NFL, wrestling, whatever I can come up with, critter stuff, anything I can think up, you can find on mine. And if I don't have it, tell me about it. I'll maybe do something about it.
There you go. So subscribe to Under the Cowl of MS wherever you get your podcast, as well as YouTube. I have art accounts on Facebook and Instagram. That's Anthony Laatsch, Laatsch. I'll be winding down with my last week of Halloween specific. I'm going to have a little spillover because I think I did more than the 31 days. But yep, you can follow those posts and see them out there. I don't know what the heck is going on now with Kirby's screen. This might be the scariest one yet. And as a self-promotion for myself, I said a little bit earlier, but on Wednesday for the week of what's October. I'm just going to get the official date because when this drops and that drops and this and that. So Wednesday, October 25th, the release of Happy Astronaut number 2 from Keenspot Comics. I have my very first pinup, published pinup that is going to be out there in there, and there might be other little special thing that's happening in that issue. I'll talk about more on that when we have it in our hands. But yeah, that is coming out on Wednesday, and just when that would make the week alone, the end of the week on the 28th, we won't have a show recording for Crimson Cowl because I will be down at the Oh Yeah Comic Shop in beautiful downtown Skokie once again, because former guest on this show, Brian Lynch, the creator of the Hot Wing of Justice, had created that the pumpkin character that we also talked about. It's been a secret for the last couple months, but over summer, myself and several other artists collaborated to create the Pumpkin Project, all curated through Brian Lynch of that pumpkin character that Joe Crone, manager of Oh Yeah Comics, so loves. He loves that character so much. So we all came together and just did a giant tribute and drew our version of the pumpkin in recognizable movie and comic book style poses, all as kind of a personal gift to Joe. But yeah, so Brian is going to be releasing that at Oh Yeah Comics. I can't wait to get that out because I got a pin up in that as well. I will be bringing that back to the table here at Crimson Cowl Comic Club. But it felt awesome to do those two things in completely different times of the year, and they're all coming out on that same week. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Stay tuned for future episodes of the Crimson Cowl Comic Club for more on those. I also host Cartoonist by Night, that is over on YouTube. And as long as nothing happens this week, there should be a brand new episode that's out there by the time this drops, because we had a very special guest, Franco. Franco from Oh Yeah Comics has joined myself, Troy Dungara, Matt Rogers, and Matt Fife on Cartoonist by Night to kick off the next era of Cartoonist by Night with artist guest. He chose the topic of Star Wars. So yes, and thank you to Kirby and Katie here, because you contributed some awesome questions that really fueled the conversation. We got those answered, so you can look forward to that as that drops. It's only available on YouTube, so subscribe. This is the part of the show where I start tripping over my words, meaning we're almost done, folks. We're almost, bringing the train into the dock. Is that what it is? Train into the station. Anyways, Cartoonist by Night, only on YouTube. That is going to do it for this episode. Happy Halloween to everybody. Enjoy the tricks and or the treats. Enjoy however you spend your spooky season. That's going to do it for this episode. This whole time, I've been the Detonator.
I've been having an identity crisis.
And I've been a steampunk jack-o'-lantern.
To be continued.
Thank you, Slimer.